This is a review of the 2012 after Seat Leon. On cold days today it's 0.5, minus 0.5. This car will take a good 5 minutes before it's blowing really hot air. So on that count, I'll give it. It's as good as an old car. As a new car, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Takes a while to get warm. Dashboard's nice. It's clear enough. You've got your interactive media system, audio, telephone, vehicle status, driving data, navigation, and it connects to phones relatively easily, Bluetooth phones. This is your center monitor. Again, you got your radio, your media, your phone, your voice, nav, traffic car menu, hazards. Not many buttons. You don't need many buttons. They're all inside the navigation. You know. The interior is nice. It's nothing special. It's hollow, but it feels strong. You know. So relatively speaking, interior-wise, nice car. Supportive seats. Nice. There's fake leather everywhere. It's nice. Plenty of storage for garbage, as you can see. Yeah, it's nice interior. I'd give it out of 10 new cars. I'd give it a 7.5. Stereo quality, I'd give it a 7. The new stereos are very good. This one's got some balls, so I'll give it a good solid 7, possibly a 7.5. If I could just comment on where I'm driving the car, at the moment I'm in Bavaria, just north of Munich, about 30 minutes north of Munich. So I've been driving around the countryside here now for about a week. And one thing that strikes me is that all the villages look the same. All of them. They all have the same type of houses. I mean, if you didn't have a map, maybe you wouldn't know where you were, especially if you didn't know the area. They all look identical. Identical fences, identical gardens. It's just, you know, all the villages blend in. And if you're enthusiastic about going where you want to go, A to B, country roads, you can forget it in Germany. The countryside is littered with villages. You get your odd de-restricted country part, and then it's interspersed constantly with villages with a 50km speed limit. It really gets on your tits. Like, this is probably the biggest gap between villages in the area. And as you can see, the countryside is all relatively flat, rolling hills. They've got loads of these little forests everywhere. I'm not sure how well you can see that out the window, but they've got these little forests, pine forests scattered everywhere. Roads are very smooth, as you'd expect, I suppose, in Germany. And here we go. Here's another village. I suppose I don't know. I wouldn't even say Britain is anywhere near as densely populated as Bavaria. Yet another village. So, you know, it's very difficult to make progress on an A road at least in this part of Germany, just because of the speed limits are so low in the villages, and there's so many villages. So this is your. Thank you, mate. I've got a big stick here. So this is like I said, this is another village. It just looks exactly the same as the one we've just been through.
50 meters into Howardstrasse.
So that's just one observation about the Bavaria. Heat is up to temperature. It's very, very toasty. It's almost bordering on too hot. So rest assured, if you're in a cold climate, you're worried about the heat or in a Seat Leon, don't, because the quality of the heat, the amount of it is more than enough. It's really, really warm. So about the build quality of this Seat Leon, what does it give me the feeling of? It feels like a solid car. Does it feel like it will last? Yes, it does feel as if it would last. I can see this car lasting 5-7 years quite easily. plus obviously it shares button with VAG, so you know the button technology, if you like, is well proven. They use them in so many different cars. They've got to get the design right. You know, if they get this button wrong, for example, it's going to go wrong in what, 20 different models, maybe more. So yeah, I trust the build quality. Anything else? Okay, it feels extremely stiff, as all new cars do, but it does feel hollow. Okay, it feels strong, well built, but the panels, they do feel hollow, even though they feel strong. You know, you feel like the metal is very high quality, it's very strong. The structure of the car is very strong, but the materials inside is like more for show. You know, they spent money on the light touch and the feel of it rather than making it feel substantial. I'm not sure if that's clear the point I'm trying to make, but this is a good example. You know, the door card, very hollow. That's not a bad thing. I mean, it is. You have got hard plastic in the door there actually, which doesn't go well with this. So yeah, but generally you can't complain. It's okay, you know, it's okay. I'd give it, compared to a modern Mercedes C-Class, for example, I'd give the Mercedes like an 8.5, maybe a 9. I would give this a 7, 7.5, so it's decent. It's decent. Handling wise, the chassis, does it feel like it can handle cornering? Yes, it does. It feels like there's loads of grip. It does feel like a very grippy chassis. It feels responsive, you know. Nav in this bag, this Leon, it's got no common sense. If you say the shortest route, it will take you the shortest route, even if that means taking you through the little suburbs of a town, the little back streets, rather than go through the main high street. When it says shortest route, it goes the shortest route.
Now turn left and then turn left again. Now turn
so that's just a comment on the...
right.
So we're still in this town, and you can see that the road she's taking us on. There's a main road
now
here.
Take the second right onto Palmstrasse.
But she's taking us through all those little back roads rather than just going straight into the town, take a right, jobs are good, and you know. So she's got no common sense. But then again, I mean, how advanced are they, you know? Computers are not there yet, obviously. Anyway, so we're out of that little town. Nice enough, actually. Shame, could have stopped for coffee. So steering wise, the steering, it has weight, it has feel. Do I trust it? Can I push on it? Do I get anything back from it? It does have some weighting. I'm not sure if I can tell you what's happening at the front wheels, but difficult one. There's not a lot of feel, no. But apparently I think this must be electric. The steering in this car. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, I've driven Opel Astras, well, Opels in general, which have got worse steering feel than a car like this. Is it up there with a mechanical? No. If we say like the average mechanical, average hydraulic steering rack gets an 8.5, 9. This gets a 7. So it's not a million miles away. The gear change, I just want to say something about that. It's actually quite nice, which surprised me because usually they're not so fantastic in the newer cars. But this actually feels mechanical to go between the gears. It's not vague, it's quite precise, but it's a mechanical in a sort of nylon gears kind of way. It's like it's not mechanical in a metallic. It's not like you go from metal gear to metal gear, when you change gears, it feels like the gears are made of nylon, you know, it's like that sort of plasticky mechanical. But it's not a bad plasticky, it doesn't feel it's gonna fall apart in 2 seconds. It feels okay to use. Obviously it's not as nice as a metallic kind of feel when you change gears, but it's not bad. I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10, the gear change in it. It's easy to change gears. It's quite easy to change them quickly. So yeah, not a bad gear change at all. Yeah, quick comment about the brakes and take 2. I'm stuck in traffic in some God knows what town outside Augsburg for no apparent reason except for the fact that they left traffic lights. Anyway, back to the point about the brakes on this car. Extremely grabby. Extremely grabby. I think you get 90% of the pedal force in the first 2 centimeters of travel. And what's really bad is the first centimeter that you push in does absolutely 0, and then in the second centimeter you get everything, 90%, and then I'm not sure what the sound insulation on the car is fantastic. It's an extremely quiet car. Sometimes you can hear the engine bouncing off the trees next to the road, for example, and you can hear that there's an engine sound, but only because of the reflection off the trees. Otherwise you don't hear it. It's an extremely quiet cabin, very quiet. Congratulations, say. I commented earlier on about the power of this car and if it was enough to use on a daily basis. Well, I'd just like to quantify what I said earlier. If 90% of your time is driving around town, then sure, this car will do the job. But if you spend a lot of time on motorways or country roads, the engine is gonna get on your nerves. I think it just hasn't got the power. It's just too slow on open roads. So for town, A-OK, fantastic. Or if you only care about fuel economy, then okay, it's fine everywhere. It's got amazing fuel economy. But on the open road, or for overtaking on country roads, this engine has not got what it takes. So I would say it's too slow. It needs a program, or you need to go for the more powerful version. I would say this car needs at least another 30 horsepower. It's got parking sensors in this car.
Right,
to be honest, they're a joy.
And continue to
absolute joy. Basically, the useful power band is somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000. Once you get past 3,500, there's really nothing there to give, you know. It's gutless above 3.5. Top whack on it's about 200 more. No, sorry. The top whack on it is about 180 kilometers an hour. It gets there relatively quickly.